There you go, baby. You got some money.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Ghosting with Anya. I'm your host, Anya Smith, and my co-host, Christopher Davey. Today's story we'll be doing called The Mailbox at the End of Hollow Lane. So it's something to do, I don't know, ghost stories with mailboxes. I don't really know. So it almost reminds me of other show that I've seen, some weird show. I forgot the name of it that I watched it on Netflix a few years ago. So, or like a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I think. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, but yeah. So, anyway, today was just any normal day, you know. I helped Fearless clean his car, you know, got the mail for him, and took his dumpsters, well, back to, you know, to the original spots where his 3 dumpsters are. So, anyway, I'm working on the new blanket. So I finished my other one that's on my bed. So anyway, I got home like around 3 p.m. or like 4 p.m. somewhere around there. Chris and I went for a walk after he got off work. So I went to Taco Bell and had some fries, and I got my 43rd subscriber today at Taco Bell. So anyway, I just want to make sure you guys ready for my stories. So anyway, we all do this kind of every night. So I just want to say thank you guys for being here and supporting my channel. And anyway, my friend also told me that I should get a sponsor to help me out with my podcast and stuff. So maybe I thought it would be cool. I just do my podcast as normal as usual, you know, doing this ghost stories right here on live stream. So getting paid while doing podcasting. So anyway, I'm working very hard to get over 1,000 subscribers and giving you a lot of ghost stories. So I hope you're all ready for it, because I know you're excited to get the ghost stories going, and I'm ready for it. I hope that you are brave enough to listen to all the stories and get all the details. Maybe you guys do the searching about all these stories. So we are still on season 5, episode 166. So tomorrow we'll be doing episode 167. So anyway, please click like, share, and subscribe. I would love to hear any of your stories. If you have any stories, you can leave me comments down below right here on live stream. You guys can also join me on live stream. So anyway, thank you guys, and let's get started on the story. Just sit back and relax, maybe get something to drink, and please click like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be going on the story. It is called The Mailbox at the End of Hollow Lane. Devin only took Hollow Lane because his supervisor called in sick, and the route had to be split before the storm rolled over the county. He was a substitute rural carrier, which meant most days were a patchwork of unfamiliar roads, half-legible names, and gravel lanes that disappeared into trees with no warning. Hollow Lane sat at the edge of his map like an afterthought, a narrow strip of road ending in one old house and a mailbox set farther from the drive than made any practical sense. The box itself caught his attention because it was freshly painted white, while everything around it, post, fence, weeds, and road shoulder, looked abandoned, or nearly so. The flag was up. Inside were no outgoing letters, only one envelope standing upright by itself with no stamp, addressed in careful blue ink. To whoever carries this road tonight. Devin should have left it alone. Instead, he opened it before the next curve. Wow. Something tells me that Devin has no idea that there is some paranormal activity going on in that property. Maybe there's a history behind it. I guess we'll have to find out as we read the story and trying to get some answers. So if you have any opinions to this, let me know in the comments down below. You guys can always join me on live stream, and you can leave me comments. You can ask questions about it, and we'll have to figure it out what story this could be from, like which era this could be from. And if there's like any background checks on that story, it's probably based on real life events of Hollow Lane. We don't know where it's from. We don't know how it became Hollow Lane. So, especially like the town, it also reminds me of Sleepy Hollow. You know, there is actually a town called Sleepy Hollow. It reminds me of Ichabod Crane and his wife Katrina, who was a witch, and she literally brought her husband Ichabod Crane into the future. So you gotta watch the show called Sleepy Hollow. It is on Disney Plus. You can watch it at any time. So anyway, let's continue on the story. I hope this makes any sense to you guys. The note inside was short enough to fit in his palm. Please tell him not to take the bridge if the rain rises. He always thinks he has time. No signature, no date. Devin laughed once in disbelief and checked the back of the envelope for some clue that this was local humor aimed at drivers or at anyone foolish enough to fill in on Hollow Lane. There was none. He looked in the mirror. The road behind him sat empty under low gray clouds. Up ahead, the lane ended at a sagging two-story house with dark windows and a porch swing tangled in dead vine. No cars sat in the drive. No smoke came from the chimney. Damn. Okay. The place looked too empty for notes to be waiting in its mailbox still. Procedure required he attempt delivery for the small parcel in the tray. So Devin drove to the house and carried the package to the porch. Before he could knock, the front door opened inward on its own. Yes. Of course, Chris. We need to buy some peanuts for our little elephant. Of course, Alfie needs it, but I think we should definitely go to the store and buy some.
Although we can't really eat him, he's a stuffed animal.
It was a joke.
I know.
Apparently, somehow, Devin has no idea what waits inside that abandoned house. So he has no idea what's going on inside the house. So he's probably freaking out or too afraid what he will see on the inside. So he's probably nervous and he wants to investigate it, but I think he should. But I think Devin has no idea what could happen. So let me know in the comments if you think Devin should step inside the house and investigate the haunted house. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think he might be afraid if he sees something? Do you think he might run away? Or he would continue investigating the place even further? A woman stood in the dim hallway wearing a house dress and apron, as if she had only just stepped away from supper. Her hair was pinned back hastily, and her expression held the sharpened focus of someone already partway into worry. "Did he leave town yet?" she asked Devin, who had spent enough years with the postal service to avoid panicking. At odd, people answered carefully that he was only delivering a package. Her eyes dropped to his hands. "No," she said softly, as if correcting an invisible thought. "The letter, then." Devin stared at her, then at the envelope, still folded in his shirt pocket. Rain began ticking against the porch roof. "Who's he?" Devin asked. The woman looked past him toward the lane and replied, "My husband. he'll take the bridge if no one tells him. Then lightning flashed beyond the trees, and in the white burst of light, the woman vanished, leaving the doorway open onto a dust-filled hall with no signs of life. Devin drove straight to the general store at the crossroads because small towns package their truths there whether they intend to or not. The clerk, a lean man named Curtis, recognized the address immediately and looked grim before Devin even finished the story. Years earlier, Curtis explained Hollow Lane belonged to the Barlows. During a spring flood, Mrs. Barlow repeatedly tried to send word to her husband, who had gone into town for feed, and insisted on taking the low bridge home rather than the longer ridge road. Neighbors said she wrote at least 3 notes and put them in the mailbox for any passing driver or carrier because the phone lines were already down and the rain too hard to ride through. Mr. Barlow never got the warning. His truck went into the creek at the bridge and was found the next morning. Mrs. Barlow stayed in the house another year, then left. People still occasionally found notes in the box before storms. I'm guessing that Mrs. Barlow lost her husband. She was waiting for her husband to come home, and her husband never got the note, so he passed away from the bridge. I'm guessing he drowned, and the wife was heartbroken and waiting for her husband to come home. So no wonder why she haunts the place. Her husband pretty much haunting the place too. So if I were, I don't know, Mrs. Barlow or whoever it is, I would try to figure out how to get to my husband. I would try to get the warning to him. And maybe I'll try and find help, I guess. I probably would. Just like Mrs. Barlow has tried years, like a lot of years before Devin decided to notice it. And maybe Devin would want it to help, I guess. So, do you think this is a heartbreaking story? Let me know if this makes any sense and it's so sad and heartbreaking story. Leave me a comment down below if you think it is. Let's continue on the story. Devin told himself local pranksters must have kept the story alive. Yet when he asked whether the house still had power or any resident, Curtis answered that the place had been empty for decades and condemned after roof damage. Devin returned the next afternoon because a part of him could not stand leaving the matter unresolved. The sky was clearing, but the creek by the low bridge still ran fat and brown between the banks.
Contestant number 6 has failed to arrive on time. She's officially disqualified.
Okay. Stupid thing. He parked by the mailbox. The flat was up again. Inside sat another envelope addressed simply to mail route. This one said, "He went the short way, please be quick." Devin didn't open the parcel he had brought this time because there was no parcel, only his own increasingly unwelcome sympathy. He took the note to the bridge instead. Halfway across, pinned against the downstream side by branches, he saw the rusted corner of an old vehicle, frame still lodged among the debris. That night, the storm returned harder than forecast and closed roads countywide. Devin, off shift and trying to sleep, woke at 2:11 a.m. to the sound of mailbox metal clanging in his dreams. By morning, without quite deciding to, he had written his own note on plain paper: "Bridge closed, take the Ridge Road." She was right. He drove it to Hollow Lane before reporting in. The mailbox flag was already up, trembling in cold wind. He placed the note inside and lowered the flag carefully. As he turned back toward the Jeep, he heard tires on wet gravel where no vehicle should have been. For one impossible moment, reflected in his side mirror, a farm truck passed the lane mouth and turned uphill toward the Ridge Road. Lanterns glowing gold through rain. A man at the wheel lifted 2 fingers from it in thanks without looking fully at Devin. Then the road behind him stood empty again. Wow. I think maybe Mr. Barlow somehow got the note, finally. And maybe he finally got some help, I guess. So, finally got the warning, even though he never did when he was alive. So, do you think that Devin did the right thing to place the note to let Mr. Barlow see the warning? He should have seen the warning when Mrs. Barlow tried to help. Apparently that never happened, so he passed away. The woman died as well of a heartbroken, like by losing her lover or whatever, her husband. So let me know what you think. After that, the notes stopped. The mailbox remained white for another season, then weathered naturally into the lane around it. County workers eventually removed the old bridge and replaced it with a higher span, which somehow felt like the living finishing something too late. But still worth doing. Devin kept the first blue ink note in the glove compartment for years. He never told the full story at work because postal employees carry enough oddness already without inviting more. But whenever storms came through and people complained about delays, he found himself strangely patient. Delivery, he had learned, is not always about timing in the ordinary sense. Sometimes a route stays haunted because one warning arrived almost in time and could not bear to remain unheard forever. That is just so tragic. Anyway, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. So, if you think this happened because something terrible would have gone through, because Mr. Barlow didn't see the warning, and somehow maybe if he had seen the warning, he would have, survived. But he was found dead the next morning by the bridge. So I'm guessing he drowned or somehow. But Mr. Barlow somehow passed away. He didn't know he was dead, or somehow he did know. So if you have any questions about the story, let me know in the comments. If you think this might be relatable, and if you think this is heartbreaking, I think it's a heartbreaking. So anyway, let's go with the questions that you are waiting for. Would you have opened the letter from the mailbox? Yes, I would. I clearly would want to. If I opened the letter, I would probably have my heart broken, and I would probably read the story or the letter. I would give that note a fresh note, like whatever, and leave the fresh note in a mailbox or by the bridge or something, and maybe the ghost of Mr. Barlow and Mrs. Barlow would read it. I would probably help them find their way out, find the light, go into it, and move on. Find peace. They don't need to haunt the place. So if they wanted to reunite with each other, this is the only way that you can help them, by writing a fresh note and leave it where they died. So Devin did the right thing. So I think I would have opened the letter, and I would definitely respond to them, and I would literally give them a fresh note saying that go to the lower bridge and find a safer place instead of I don't know, finding a longer one. Like, go to the short one and find a way to get safe and sound so you won't lose your life to it. So I definitely would. Anyway, let's go to number 2. Do you think Mrs. Barlow was hunting the lane or trying to finish one warning? I probably think that she was trying to finish the warning. She tried so many times to get Mr. Barlow to see the warning, even though he never did. That is just so tragic, heartbreaking. If I were Mr. Barlow, I would definitely see it, and I would try to figure it out to avoid all the bad stuff If I were Mr. Barlow, I would definitely read the warning and find a way to get to the hollow lane. So my answer is she would try to finish the warning just to get to her husband, or she just wanted to reunite with her husband so they can move on instead of haunting the place. All right, let's go to number 3. What is more unsettling, the empty house or the repeated notes? I think it's the repeated notes. If I ever seen the empty house, I would continue investigating it. And if I saw the repeated notes, I would probably continue investigating it and give them the fresh note. Whatever I would want to write in that note, and give it to the spirits of Mr. and Mrs. Barlow, I would hopefully they would get the notes. Hopefully they can find peace and stop haunting the place, literally. All right, let's go to number 4. Why do male roots and storms make strong ghost story settings? It's a memory on repeat. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Barlow didn't know what was happening just because of the storm. She tried to get to her husband. Like, she would try to get her husband to see the note, but he never did. So every year she tried and she got stuck on repeat. It's a memory, like when that night or whatever, or that morning, something, she clearly wrote the same letter or same note, put it in the mailbox, and tried to get the note to her husband, but he never got it. So that's why it's on repeat. Living her final moments, trying to get her husband's attention, trying to get him to see the note, but it never happened. So apparently the note was never mailed. This is why he never saw it. That's why he passed away. He drowned, I guess. So he took the long road, and somehow the bridge collapsed and Mr. Barlow died by drowning. No wonder why he can't rest until he sees the note and reunites with his wife. I wonder why. So, what do you guys think of it? Do you think Mr. Barlow should have seen the note and decided to avoid the big, long roads? Let me know in the comments down below if you think so. Let's go to number 5. All right, we've got 5 questions before I sign off. Cool. It's almost 9 o'clock. Was Devin right to return to the mailbox the next day? Yes. I think so. If Devin didn't know what was going on, if he didn't hear any stories, if he didn't see the package and put it on the porch, he wouldn't have cared about it. He wouldn't have noticed anything. But I think he did the right thing. Here's a question for you, babe. Mm-hmm. Was Devin right to return to the mailbox the next day?
Yes.
The reason why is because he was so curious to know what was going on. Maybe he saw a ghost and he didn't realize that Mrs. Barlow is a spirit of a dead woman who got her heart broken just because she never got a chance to reunite with her husband. So she died because her husband never came home. He died by drowning, probably. But I think he did the right thing, yes. If I were Devin, I would continue investigating. I would continue returning to the hollow lane, to the mailbox with fresh notes. Literally. Let's go to number 6. Do you think his note changed the haunting? Yes, it did. I'm absolutely agree. And yes, I do think that his notes did change, because if it hadn't, Mr. Barlow would have never gotten the note. His wife kept repeating the same note every year until things would change. So I'm so glad that Devin literally did that. If it wasn't for Devin, Mr. and Mrs. Barlow would have never reunited with each other in the afterlife. All right, let's go to number 7. What do you make of the truck taking the ridge road in the mirror? I think that he somehow didn't notice it at first. By the time he realized that he passed away and did not notice that it happened, maybe his memories were faulty. If he would have taken the small ridge road, he would have survived. Instead of taking the longer one, he would have gone home, he would have kissed his wife as he missed her, and they would have lived. Mrs. Barlow would have never gone missing as well, probably, or dying from a heartbroken. So if he had taken the smaller one, they both would have lived to tell the tale. All right, let's go to number 8. We got 3 questions left before I sign off. Is this story more about love, timing, or guilt? I think it was about love. Mrs. Barlow loved her husband so much that she was willing to reunite with her husband by writing repeated notes just to get his attention. But that never happened. So she tried every year. Never happened. So she died of a broken heart. She wanted her husband to come home as fast as he could, but he never did. So it wasn't guilt. I don't know if she was guilty. She might have been guilty, but she also loved her husband very much. So, okay, same question for you. Is the story more about love, timing, or guilt?
I'd say love.
There you have it, folks. This story is about love. It's about Mr. and Mrs. Barlow trying to see what they can do. Mrs. Barlow was trying to help her husband, but I think she tried to find a way to reach him with the note because the phones were down because of the storm. So there was no way to reach him. The only thing she did was the notes, but they were never mailed. The mail person never got to their house of the mailbox, never took it. This is why Mr. Barlow passed away, because he never got the note. Would you have kept the first note? Yes. Of course I would have. I mean, it's like a memory. I would look at the note. Like, I would take it out of my pocket and take a look and try to remember what the note would have said. I would remember it. Repeating the note, remember it 1,000 times. So it's just a memory. It's part of the history. I would have done that if I were Devin. And yes. Okay, we are on the last question before I sign off. It is 9 p.m. already. If you could deliver one warning too late for history, would you still try?
Yes.
Of course. Yes, we would. I mean, if I were Devin, I would literally continue doing that. I would definitely want to. So, if I ever had this note being the warning, if I wrote it, like if I want my husband to know what was going on, I would have told him, especially with the notes, if the phones were down, but I would try my best to reach out to him with the notes. But since we have our power, our phones are not down, I can easily send him a text message and he would definitely get the warning. So I would definitely deliver it. It depends if there is a storm going on, but it does not. All right, guys, we are out of time. So thank you guys for participating. Thank you for listening and being brave enough to watch my videos. Tomorrow we'll be doing the new story. As I said, we'll be doing the bridesmaid on the back stairs. This is episode 167, which is tomorrow night, same time as always. I just want to say thank you guys again for clicking like, sharing, and subscribing to my channel and being very supportive. Tomorrow we'll be doing the new story. So anyway, have a wonderful night and stay safe. May God bless. And I hope that you are ready for the next story. This is all I have to say because I can't wait for you guys to get more stories and more adventurous. So we'll continue on doing this. So anyway, thank you guys and have a wonderful night. Kids, stay in school and just pray to God, make sure nothing ever happens. And parents, please protect your kids from anything that could happen to them, even when they're small or preteens or whatever. I just want to make sure that these kids are safe, especially with the stories. If they're too young to listen to these stories, maybe one day when they grow up, they can watch my episodes from like season 1 all the way to like season 15 or something, or whenever. It depends. I can always go to season 16, 17, or 18 or 19, and so on and so on. So please make sure your kids are safe to watch something that's inappropriate instead of all the ghost stories until they are like old enough to watch my show. Anyway, thank you guys and have a wonderful night. Please click like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on next of Ghosting with Anya on live stream. So happy Father's Day to you all. And it's going to be on June 21st, which is on a Sunday, I think. So see you guys, and stay safe. Stay spooky, guys. Have fun, and we'll see you on next time of Ghosting with Anya. Bye!